So congratulations, you just got an accepted offer on your property and you're just not sure what to do next. Well, that's a big leap for a lot of people. It's a large purchase and you oftentimes will put more thought into purchasing a vehicle or other household items. You might buy a little bit more than you do your home, especially what we've seen in the last year. On average, homeowners will only buy and sell their properties about 3 to 5 times in their lifetime. So this is a big situation. And this information is going to give you in this 11 items what to kind of really do and how the subject removal period will look at. So the real estate market this last year was ridiculously crazy. There wasn't really an opportunity to complete any due diligence just to be competitive. You really had to have as minimal subject conditions as possible. But myself and my team, we really try to steer away from those type of offers and keep the proper due diligence in the purchases because it is a big purchase. And consumer protection, your protection, I take that seriously. So really, we want to kind of get you as much information as possible, and we'll get you, make sure you're making the right decisions. So maybe you're not having to have unexpected surprises pop up. All right, so negotiating the offer. We've already negotiated the offer. We've got you an accepted offer, but rule number one here is we really started the negotiation period well before we made the offer. So that's when the negotiation period goes. When we go to view the house, that's when the initial conversation starts and the initial negotiating starts. So by this time, I would have had a chance to review the history of the listing. How many times have they tried to sell in the last 10 years? How long have they owned the house? And that sort of thing. And sometimes you can get a lot of information. Sometimes there's not enough information available. And so we're limited in some factors on it. But looking at that due diligence ahead of time and the negotiation power, we can also review it later after the accepted offer. So that's why we're bringing it back up again and just seeing, is there anything weird? Maybe we saw 10 homes and maybe there's something remiss. So we're going to re-look at what the history of this listing was. Has this home been sold 3 times in the last 5 years? That would be a red flag to me. So we're going to look into this. And if I haven't brought that up to your attention yet, please reach out to me and ask me these questions there just to make sure you're getting the right information that it is, because we want to negotiate. If it has sold 3 times in the last 5 years, maybe there's something wrong with the house. Maybe there's a neighbor, a latent defect, something that we're not aware of right now in the moment. And so just wondering why it's really turning over. We'll just take it from there and take it to the next step and start asking more questions and that sort of thing. But the rule number one oftentimes is, why is the seller selling? Those are the questions we'll ask. The selling agent is not doesn't have to fully disclose it, and normally they will not disclose the full. Maybe there's a divorce situation, or maybe they can't breach their client's interest. So we can ask the questions, but we're limited in some of the responses we get, so we can't trust everything we get. But we'll continue to keep going and see what else we can find out about this property. So number one, it really started with the negotiation period, and that's just to be able to complete the home due diligence. It's just make sure it's a great purchase for you. All right, and if you haven't already, hit that like button. Yeah, right there. Yeah, that's the one. Just smash it now. And then also hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, so you just make sure you don't miss out on future videos of what it's like living in Kelowna and other real estate topics. And coming in at number 2 here, it's probably another obvious one, but chances are we've have subject conditions in the offer. And so what we're going to go through is number 2 is reviewing the subject offer. So normally for a normal single family home purchase, we're looking about 5 to 6 subject conditions normally I'll recommend to put in. Sometimes we're going to waive some of them depending on the type of property and the type of purchase. Strata properties are going to have probably closer to 8 to 10 subject conditions in there because there's more information that we have to review. Strata documents, parking, that sort of thing. As well as, if a home has a septic system, there's going to be another additional subject condition that we're just going to want to make sure that you're looking at compared to a home if it had a sewer. So normally with subject conditions, we're going to have financing, we're going to have home inspection, we're going to have professional advice, we're going to have strata documents if it is a strata property. So when we get the accepted offer, we're going to send you a detailed email, and that's going to be included with this video. But if you're just looking on YouTube here, it is we will send you an updated email with all the documents you need. So because you're going to need to send all that information over if you are getting financing, you're going to want to send it over to your lender or your mortgage broker. You're also going to want to have your lawyer review all the documents because they are also going to be reviewing the title and making sure there's no discharges or no charges on title or easements, or if you're an investor or if you're a developer, we're going to look at that ahead of time and before we're making an offer to kind of know what we're really working with. But it's also good to have another lawyer to review all that information just so they have it. So number 2 is just reviewing all the subject conditions and making sure we're getting all the questions answered that you might have. So if you do have any specific questions on the property, get these out as soon as possible to me so we can have some time for additional due diligence in what we're looking to do. Coming in at number 3, we're also going to want to get the professionals on everything as soon as possible. It's one of the situations where it's sometimes a long process to get an accepted offer and you're mentally exhausted and you just want to move on to the next thing. But it's very important that we do get information out to the proper professionals. So we'll send you the 1-page document for the lender that they'll need. We'll send them the contract purchase sale and forward that on to your lender and your lawyer just so they can have all the information to review. We're also going to want to get all the property, get the other professionals the information they need, get the inspection booked as soon as possible. Inspections can book up and you want to have enough time at the end of the process to be able to review the inspection, and so you don't feel like you're pressured to make a decision. So the earlier you get on it, sometimes there's going to be a 2-week subject period. That is what's common these days for a normal single family home purchase. If you are an investor, sometimes you're going to need a little bit extra time for your lender, so make sure you probably would have already chatted about that with the offer. Just make sure when you are talking to your professionals, if you haven't already got an accepted offer, that you're kind of understanding how long they need to be able to process the information and get you what you want. Last case scenario is we don't want you rushing to make a decision at the end of the day, and we want to make it as easy and be on top of things as much as possible. So number 3, let's just get everybody, all your professionals, all the information they need ahead of time, and then that way it's going to be a smooth sailing and it's going to make it a lot less stressful situation for yourself. So number 4, after we get all the professionals their information, we're going to actually just go through and review it. So we want to have the time to review all the subject conditions. Once we get the subject conditions in place and the accepted offer and everybody gets all their information, the time to review it is really just to give you time. You want to have time to be able to review all the strata documents. If you're purchasing a condo, there's going to be a lot of documents. We got 2 years worth of minutes that we're going to have to work through. It is not the funnest information. There are companies we can hire to review the strata documents, but we recommend that you review them. Look at the meeting minutes. See, is there any common issues that you maybe see coming up? I'm going to, as your professional, going to review that information personally as well and read through all the documents so we can make the decision together, and we'll ask any questions we need to, maybe from the seller or the listing agent, just so we know ahead of time what makes sense for you and you're making the most educated decision possible. All right, so number 5, you've reviewed all the information. Just to look back, we've gone through it, got the accepted offer, we've negotiated everything, we've got the home inspection, your lender has given you the approval. So now we're at the position right now. Number 5 is to remove the subject condition. So this is when you make the yes or no decision if you feel comfortable going ahead with it. So with the home purchases, it is such a big situation, a big purchase. It's nerve-wracking. So I know you get cold feet and there's a number of different emotions that you're going through. Is this the right decision for you? I know they're all common factors when you are purchasing a home, what you're kind of going through right now. So this is really when you're deciding, yes, the first big one was to make that offer and get the accepted offer. But now this is the next really big one where you're going to feel a lot of different emotions. So just know that ahead of time. And that's why we want to review all the information as soon as possible and get a head start on it. So you can have all the information you need to be able to sleep on it for maybe a night or two and make sure you're feeling comfortable about the purchase. Let you talk to other professionals. Maybe we need to get other professionals in to review certain things. That is something that we want to just make sure we have enough time, but it's also going to set you up for the long run. So now we're at the point, everything's good, your financing good, everybody signed off, everything looks good, and you're happy with the decision. So this is a situation where we're going to get subject removed. So we're going to remove all those subject conditions that we put in the initial offer, and we're going to review them all. And once they're all reviewed, we're going to kind of cross them off and we're going to sign off and saying you agree to remove all the subject conditions. This is a time if something did come up and you did need to negotiate. Normally we like to try and get ahead of all of the negotiations ahead of time. But if there's maybe something that came up unexpectedly, something in the home inspection, or maybe there's a charge on title that you're not necessarily happy about, this is now the time where we can negotiate something else. Maybe it's the dates even that you just need to kind of adjust and move around a little bit. So this is the time time where it is one last time that you really have anything to really hold for bargaining power. So after you remove subject conditions, you don't really have a whole lot of bargaining power left to the seller. So there's no indication of what. So if this is the last real chance, if you did have any asks out of the seller, it's not to say that they're going to automatically say yes, but this is when you're going to have the next best opportunity to be able to negotiate something. So just keep that in mind as we're heading towards removing subject conditions and getting them signed, that you want to make sure that we're addressing it sooner than later. So you're making the educated decision as soon as possible. Number 6 here, after the subject removal, is the deposit. So we would have negotiated this in the original offer and it would have been in the email that I sent you. But the deposit date, normally for normal home purchases, we're putting 2 business days after subject removal date. One thing why we're bringing this up right now is because, but maybe we need to know if it is ahead of time, maybe it's after acceptance. We'll address that and we'll make it known to you when we need it, but we do need to get the deposit in. If you're an out-of-town buyer, sometimes the electronic transfers take a little bit longer than just a normal e-transfer. I know it sounds ridiculous, but it can take up to 5 days for the funds to get from one bank to another, especially if it's international. So best to get ahead of that, know that time period with 3 to 5 days. But we do recommend to cut down on that time frame. If you are in town, we can do a bank draft, or we can arrange to get the bank draft and deposited into the bank account. So that is just what we're looking to do. And it'll just go into the Realty Trust for our company, for the Coldwell Banker Horizon Realty, for our brokerage, and we'll hold it in trust, but it'll all be negotiated. Some deals it goes directly to the seller. Every deal is different, but normally it'll be held in trust, and this is normally within 2 business days after final subject removal. So that is just what to really look at when you're doing that. And after you've done the deposit, congratulations, it is now officially yours. This is when we consider the home has sold firm. So that is when everything will be submitted. You've removed subject conditions. Now the deposit's been received. That's when the home will be taken off the market and the sold price will be revealed to the rest of the market. So when it comes sold, or if there's an accepted offer, we don't know the sold price until it goes firm. That's at this stage here. So congratulations, you're now at that stage. You've made the decision to go ahead with the purchase. And now we're just looking toward going ahead to possession date. So there's going to be 3 more items here going forward that you're going to look to want to do before possession date and completion date. But if you do have any questions at this point, just reach out and I'd happy to help you and help you through the process there. So number 8, if you haven't done this already, is hire your movers. If you do plan to hire them, or if you're just using U-Haul and friend down the street or some young sons, that sort of thing for muscle, hire your movers as soon as possible and rent that U-Haul. People can get busy, depends on the time of year. Some seasons are busier than others, but it is a great time right now just to order it so you have peace of mind. Get ahead of it as soon as possible so you're not scrambling at the last minute. And I know there's a lot of, the Okanagan's busy. It's one of the fastest growing communities here. There's just not a lot of workers available to be able to do the work. And, especially in the heat of the summer, sometimes what we've been seeing a little bit is some non-reputable companies. You don't want to be just left with the non-reputable companies because they might leave you hanging. We've had clients that have been left hanging from certain companies, so we're trying to steer clear of that. And if you do have questions on movers, that sort of thing, anybody in the connections, reach out. I can offer you our suggestion, what we've had work for good for us and our clients in the past. So reach out. That's an important one, just to really want to make sure you're getting ahead of it before you're out. Number 9 is about 30 days from your possession date. You're going to want to coordinate all the hookups of utilities and internet. So you want to start contacting them. As you get closer to your moving date, you're going to need to be packing all these things, and you're going to pack up and you're going to be excited to move, but you might forget to be able to hook up the utilities. So just do that about 30 days prior, and that makes sure you're ahead of it, and you can get them all transferred over. And you don't have to have them transferred over until the possession date or what else is put in the contract there. So at this point, if you do have questions on dates, when to have things active, reach out to your professional here, reach out to me, and it'll be in the contract there. But we'll just want to make sure that you have sufficient time. And it's normally a good idea to get insurance placed about 1 day prior to you moving in, just in case for whatever reason, if the seller doesn't have insurance on that day, you don't want to have that window where insurance is not overlapping. So you want to request me having a day or 2 overlapping, just to make sure, because we can't control what the other parties are doing, but what we can control is you. For the additional cost of $20, maybe, I don't even know what the cost is. It's negligible when you look at it for 1 extra day of insurance. So better to do it ahead of time just in case there are any issues. Maybe something got bumped during the move. That way you make sure at least you're covered. Hopefully he doesn't have to go through it, and hopefully the seller, but at least make sure you're covered from it, not having to figure out cash payments and that sort of situation. Just keep things easier. All right, so now you're about a week or two before possession period. Just want to double check in with your moving company. Do check in with me if you need to. Do a check in with your other professionals that you're getting, your lawyer, making sure everybody's all on the same page. Everybody's ready to go. Check in with your lender to make sure, they're not on holidays, and if they are, they have somebody covering it and they're fully versed in your files. So it doesn't, everything happened without a glitch. So there's a number of different situations. I know it's busy and it's tough to be on top of everybody, but it's good to a couple weeks before the completion and possession period to just maybe double check with your professionals if you haven't been in contact with them, because you're going to have that time from when you got the accepted offer till the completion date, or you're probably not going to hear from us. I try to give you your space, and it's not that I'm not thinking about it and I'm not preparing for it. Normally up to a week before, I'm going to be preparing to start contacting you about a week before. But, just make sure, reach out to all your professionals, make sure you know what's going to happen and everybody's on the same page and good to go. So in the last week leading up, number 11 here, the last tip that we have after the accepted offer, I'm going to be in contact with you regarding the possession period, normally a couple days before the possession period. Sometimes I can't get information, so we don't know where the seller's going to leave the keys or when the seller will be fully out, but I'm going to be in contact with the other agent and to arrange, see when we can get you into the property. Maybe it's a situation where the seller has left early and everything's clean and ready to go for you. There's a chance that we can maybe get you an early possession date. It doesn't always happen, but what we're going to aim for is we're going to arrange for key drop off, and we're going to arrange for us to walk through the house one last time on the possession date. So on the possession date, we're going to walk through it, you, me, everybody involved in it. You can bring the U-Haul up at this point, but this is what we're looking to do, and we're just going to go through and make sure the house is clean, make sure everything from the contract has been left. Anything that wasn't supposed to be there is gone, type of situation. Hopefully I can do that walkthrough a day before possession so we can get ahead of everything, a little bit ahead of things, try to be ahead of everything just in case something needs to be removed out, or maybe something's not as clean as possible. Gives us that extra little window of time to get it satisfied for you when you are looking to get the items into your house and get everything moved there. So number 11 is really just, it's just the final piece of the puzzle, and then we do possession period. So this is the most exciting part. This is the moment you've been waiting for, and this is you're probably tired at this point. You're stressed, you're looking to move in, you're anxious, you're excited, but then you have all this moving to do. So there's so many more factors really playing in, so many more emotions kind of really factoring in. So this is going to be a great time for you. So if you do have questions, or if there are any concerns with the house that you moved into, reach out to me and let us know. Make sure we can address it as we go. And we have people calling me every day looking to move here to the Okanagan. The Okanagan is the fastest growing community right now in Canada. It's grown 14% in the last year. And so you're not alone for thinking about moving here to the Okanagan. And if you are thinking about it, shoot me an email, send me a text message, or give me a call, whatever works for you. I have your back. I'm here to answer any questions you have about buying, selling, renting, whatever the situation is. I just love to chat about the Okanagan and tell you why I moved here with my family. And so reach out, don't hesitate. I have people calling me every day looking to move here. So you're not alone. Just do it now. Do it.